Hello there. It's the 29th of June, 2018. I'm just going to tell you what the time is because it's 10 past 11 a.m. and I've been at my flat all morning. I struggle to get up out of bed. I'm so sorry. I suffer with chronic pain. No one knows the exact real cause, so I have to live with it. I don't think there's a cure for it, apart from being poked with needles and taking numerous medications that have horrible side effects. Anyway, I wrote a diary since 2006. This morning I've woken up and it's the usual. My son borrowed money off of me, it hasn't been returned yet, life is difficult. Before my neighbour moved in at number 5, there was an elderly gentleman called Tony Bogle living there, who was 80 years old. And he kept collapsing in Sainsbury's and went to hospital with a stroke. And I wrote about his washing machine making funny noises. Well, the lady that has moved in there now hasn't gone out this morning. She's in her flat and she's obviously got a load on at the washing machine. And it's making funny noises, like it's saying things, you know, near my bathroom. I have had no real relationship since I got divorced in 2008. When I came down here in 2008, I went to live with my parents in Victoria Road, Jennifer and Derek, mum and dad. And I had to leave my children behind. The police told me that I couldn't see my children anymore. So I panicked, I left Gloucestershire and I came down here thinking that maybe mum and dad would help me get my son out of care, help me clean up my flat at Fairfield Court, and then I could go home and at least see my children. Well, it didn't work out that way, I'm afraid. I've lost my son Anthony into care completely forever. My ex-husband has told me I'll never ever see him again, even after he's 18. He told that to me over the phone. He also said he was going to get a restraining order out on me if I fought for the children, so I had to leave it. I was too weak and too ill. I came down here, I had a black eye, I'd been beaten over the head. No wonder I have nerve damage to my face and head, which keeps getting punched, attacked, and I still keep standing up, and I fear one day they will kill me. So I began just being cut off from everybody, children, and I was living with my mum and dad, and my dad bought 2 caravans at All Hallows Caravan Park, EV9 and Thameside 68. So my dad started taking me up there every weekend, and my mother didn't come with me. She stayed at Victoria Road while me and my dad drove me up to All Hallows in various different cars that he'd bought along different years. And so I was going everywhere with my dad. I had no boyfriend of any kind for 4 or 5 years or anything. I was just going everywhere with my father. Morrison's, Prince's Park, doing shopping. The last time my mum came out with us together was Herne Bay, where she tried to order a children's meal, and she bought something in Holland and Barrett that cost £17. She never came out with us again. Eventually the caravans got repossessed and we didn't go up there anymore. Dad bought the caravans for me, mum and him to retreat to. My mum didn't want to go. She wanted to stay at Victoria Road, even though the house was dilapidated and dangerous, may I add. Asbestos in the walls, holes in the ceiling. It was in a terrible state. But she wouldn't move out of there. So I couldn't stand living there, so I got this flat eventually in 2011. My sister died the same year of multiple sclerosis. What I'm trying to say is I just gone everywhere with my dad. Um, and people in Tesco's, which is now shut down, used to say, hasn't your partner got lovely hair? And I used to shout and say, you know, that is my dad, that is not my partner. My mum has even talked to me and said, isn't your dad a lovely big man? Hasn't he got lovely muscles? Um, you don't describe your dad like that to your daughter. A dad and a mum are a dad and a mum. I mean, a daughter doesn't look at her dad as being sexy or attractive or with muscles. She wants a caring father to put his arms around her shoulders and help her. Um, what's brought that up is yesterday I had a letter from Peter Coulson in Essex, and on the front, Royal Mail stamp and a Dad's Army stamp on the corner. I am in a world and I'm trapped. I am trapped in the fact that I just see my mum and dad once a week. Um, it's a world which is lonely, isolating and upsetting. My mum has said to me that she has given me some kind of freedom. I have a flat, but it's dead lonely in here. And I'm 50 years old in September, and you call this freedom when your mother is saying to you that she's given me a bit of freedom. This isn't freedom. I've been attacked by drug addicts. I'm afraid to go out. Every man is supposed to be like my dad, who is dressed basically, honestly, like a tramp. So every man I meet is like my dad. They smell, they have drug problems, they're stained fingers, they shout and they hit me. Is that the world that you call freedom?